Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight I am going to be giving you an update on some of Liverpool's transfer news like I have been doing on a regular basis. Then after that topic I am going to delve into some of Chelsea's transfer news. But the first topic I'm going to start with is Liverpool's transfer news. I am going to be going through with you the players I expect to leave Liverpool Football Club in the summer transfer market and that. Also going to be giving you the news on Victor Osimhen from Lille. Also going to give you a bit more additional information on Kylian Mbappe. And also going to be talking with you about Werner. So there you go. So I think the players that are going to be leaving Liverpool in the summer, I've already gone through with you. I've gone through this with you before. I think definitely Nathaniel Klein will leave Liverpool in the summer transfer market because, Liverpool have got strong reservations about him, because he is very, very injury prone. Doesn't even get in the team enough anywhere, Nathaniel Klein. He is a backup to Trent Alexander because Trent Alexander is Liverpool's first choice right back. I think Liverpool maybe could get around £10 to £15 million if they did sell Nathaniel Klein in the summer transfer market and that. So that's one player I expect to go. Adrian. I also expect Liverpool to try and get rid of him because Liverpool fans have been criticising, Adrian a lot, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes that he has been making. So I think Liverpool will look to offload Adrian. I think they'll definitely not get rid of Dejan Lovren. He's another player that's expected to go because Dejan Lovren has been very, very inconsistent for Liverpool. So I think, they'll definitely get rid of him. Of course, he is one of their backup centre-halves, is Dejan Lovren. I think they'll also get rid of Adam Lallana. I think he's expected to leave on a free transfer at the end of the season, is Adam Lallana, of course. He hasn't been a bad player for Liverpool, just doesn't get in their team enough and isn't one of their first choice midfielders. His current contract does expire very, very soon. I also expect Liverpool to get rid of Dick of Origi. Well, they could get rid of Dick of Origi. Like I said, he's a very, very good backup, is Dick of Origi. And, he does tend to make an impact when he does get his chances. But I think, Liverpool will look to cash in for him. And I think they'll also get rid of Shaqiri because, most of his appearances come from the bench. So he doesn't really start, Shaqiri in that. So they're the players I think Liverpool will get rid of. I think, by the way, they'll also negotiate on getting rid of Harry Wilson permanently because he's on loan with Bournemouth at the moment. I think Bournemouth are interested in making his loan deal permanent. Yes, they are. Liverpool, by the way, could also sell Sadio Mane, and I think Liverpool could get at least £100 million for Sadio Mane in that. But there you go. So they're the players I think, that could leave Liverpool in the summer transfer market and that. So now let's delve into the news on Victor Osimhen. Now, Victor Osimhen, does play for Lille, like I said. It has reported out in the last couple of days saying that Liverpool have been in negotiations with his representatives over the possible transfer. Now, it also says my club, Manchester United, have expressed an interest in the player. Also, I think a few other clubs have expressed their interest. He is rated at around £60 million. Now, this is his debut season with Lille. It's his debut season. I think Victor Osimhen has scored around 18 goals in 38 games in all competitions. He has got a contract with Lille until 2024. He's a former Charleroi player, Charleroi, however you pronounce the name. I might pronounce that team's name wrong. Before he was at Charleroi, he was at Wolfsburg, and before he was at Wolfsburg, he was at Ultimate Strikers Academy, was the player, and he is only at the age of 21. So reportedly, Liverpool have expressed an interest in him. So he is now one player on their agenda. He's one player on their agenda now, and he's predominantly a forward. So now let's delve into news on Kylian Mbappe, then I'll delve into the news on Werner. So the news is on Kylian Mbappe. I'll reiterate some of the stuff that I've mentioned regarding Kylian Mbappe in the last couple of days. I'll reiterate it, yeah. So like I said, Jurgen Klopp did contact Kylian Mbappe's father over the future transfer, and this was stemming from Leeds 10 Sport. Now, like I revealed yesterday, it does say that Liverpool have got a master plan to sign Kylian Mbappe in the summer of 2021, which is, of course, next year. And I think I'm going to outline a couple of the reasons, why Liverpool want to get him in the summer of 2021. Because obviously, they'll be able to get him cheaper. Plus, then he'll only have a year remaining on his contract unless PSG can get him a contract extension. Kylian Mbappe is under contract with PSG until 2022. So he has got like 2 years remaining on his current contract. And yeah, and it did say how much it would cost Liverpool to get Mbappe. I think it would cost them around 175 million or something like that if they were to get him in the summer of 2021. Now, if Liverpool were to pull this transfer off for Mbappe, it would be, one of the biggest narratives in footballing history. I've got to make that admission. But I'm very, very sceptical anyway that Liverpool will pay, 175 million. Of course, if Liverpool were to try and get in this summer, they'd have to pay around 250 million pounds because PSG have said they want around 250 million pounds, and that is a world record fee. And as it stands at the moment, Kylian Mbappe is the second most expensive player in the world, behind Neymar, of course. PSG did get him on loan, but then they made the deal permanent and they paid around 166 million in transfer fees. And Kylian Mbappe now thinks in his third season with PSG, and he has scored 90 goals in 120 games, I think, in all competitions. I think, Mbappe, he'd do very, very well in the Premier League. He'd live up to expectations. I think he'd tear the Premier League apart from my own perception, about Mbappe is predominantly a forward, and he is only at the age of 21. So still got a lot of years ahead of him. I also, liked him a lot when he was at Monaco, Kylian Mbappe and that. But it would be interesting to see, him come to the Premier League, maybe in the foreseeable future, because I'm actually, very, very sceptical that Liverpool will get him. Kieran Maguire, who is the expert of the finances, he actually said it had cost Liverpool only £40 million up front. It also mentioned as well, because obviously Liverpool are changing sponsor from New Balance to Nike. I think that comes into effect next season, so it did say that could actually play a part in Liverpool getting Kylian Mbappe. But like I said, Liverpool will have to sell one of their attacking trio anyway to get Kylian Mbappe on the board, so it would be guaranteed game time week in, week out. Obviously, but I want to give you some news now. The Spanish expert has come out today. I can't pronounce his name, but you'll know who I'm on about anyway. He's come out and said that Kylian Mbappe has decided that he wants to join Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid, of course, have been relentlessly linked with Kylian Mbappe. Actually, PSG came out, was it a day or two ago, and they said they've no intentions of selling Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid, and they'll basically rather let him see out his contract and let him go on a free transfer and that. So from my own perception, if Kylian Mbappe does leave PSG, I think he will make a move to Real Madrid and that, because Liverpool won't pay 200 or 175 million pounds for Mbappe. No, they won't. But that's the latest news on that. I also now want to give you some news on Timo Werner from RB Leipzig. Now, I've also been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with him on a regular basis. Now, the news is on Timo Werner is that Damasio has come out, who is a very reliable Italian journalist. Damasio has reported on quite a few things recently. And he's actually said that Timo Werner will leave RB Leipzig in the summer transfer market. And he believes that a few clubs are in for Timo Werner. Obviously, the Spanish experts also come out and given his verdicts on Timo Werner as well. And he doesn't see how his transfer to Liverpool will happen. So probably the Spanish expert is very, very sceptical that Liverpool will get Timo Werner. I think Liverpool have got a great chance of getting Timo Werner because don't forget he recently revealed, Werner, that he does want to join Liverpool. Of course, he did say back in February, this was stemming from Sky in Germany, and he said back in February he said back in February that, he described Jurgen Klopp as one of the best managers in the world and that. You had the RP, Lesbig sporting director, coming out the other week, and he said, that Timo Werner's made no contact with Lesbig over the transfer. He also said there's been no approach from any clubs because, Liverpool have not yet, as far as I'm aware, they've not submitted a bid for the player. And, it will cost Liverpool around £52 million because that's his release clause in his contract with RP Leipzig. But like I said, Timo Werner would be a much cheaper solution than Kylian Mbappe, to be quite honest with you. But like I said, he's a very, very good player, is Timo Werner. And, the same sort of thing, what I said earlier on regarding Mbappe, Liverpool need to sell one of their attacking trio to get Timo Werner on the board. Now, Timo Werner is into his 4th season with RP Leipzig. He has got 88 goals in 150 appearances in all competitions. And I think around 72 goals is it in the Bundesliga. So the vast majority of his goals have come in the Bundesliga of Timo Werner's. But he's done very, very well because Timo Werner became the youngest player to reach 50, 100, 150 and 200 Bundesliga appearances. RP Leipzig did pay around €10 million for him from Stuttgart back in 2016. He was actually very, very good at Stuttgart, became the youngest player to ever represent them, also became their youngest goal scorer ever. And Timo Werner is only the age of 23 or 24 years of age. And another good thing about Timo Werner, he can play in more than one position, so his versatility is very, very good. And I think a few other clubs have expressed their interest in Timo Werner. A few other clubs have expressed their interest in Timo Werner. So yeah, he's been another player, on Liverpool's agenda. But, if Liverpool were to sign Timo Werner, he would be reuniting with Naby Keita because Liverpool obviously, got Naby Keita from RB Leipzig and stuff like that. I think also too Sadio Mane has advised Timo Werner to join Liverpool. But I think it's Liverpool have got a hell of a lot more chance of getting Timo Werner than they have of Kylian Mbappe. So that's the news on that. I think also Liverpool have been relentlessly linked with Diego Carlos from Sevilla. He is a centre-half, so he's another player that's been on their agenda. Don't forget, there was info Willian recently. Now it reportedly says that Arsenal are leading the race for Willian. But reflecting on his wage demands, that could be the stumbling block of him making his move to Arsenal. So for him to go to Arsenal, Willian's wages do need to be lower than that. But there you go. And obviously, Liverpool did sign Takumi Minamino in January. They paid just over £7 million for him from Red Bull Salzburg. And Takumi Minamino, he tends to play in the cup games and that. But, he seldom started in the Premier League. Maybe Takumi Minamino will get more opportunities going on into next season. But probably, is the foreseeable future for Liverpool is Takumi Minamino and that. But yeah, so Liverpool, will want to make quite a few signings in the summer transfer market. Like I said before, a lot of teams are under financial pressure due to this coronavirus pandemic and that. So a lot of clubs' summer transfer budgets will be reduced. So as you all know, let's just put that into the equation. But, Liverpool do want to continue this dominance up, because they have enjoyed a very, very good season. Like I said, Liverpool went on a 44-match unbeaten run. Of course, Watford were the team to end their 44-match unbeaten run because Watford did beat Liverpool 3-0 earlier on in the season. But Liverpool have only lost one game this season. The last game Liverpool did play before all the football season got suspended was Atletico Madrid, and they did lose by 3-2 against Atletico Madrid. So obviously, they're no longer now the Champions League holders are Liverpool. But they've only lost one game this season. But I still think, they are unbeaten in 50-odd games at Anfield in the Premier League. So Anfield is a fortress. Liverpool only need 2 wins. They only need 2 wins now, do Liverpool, to, clinch their first ever Premier League title and to end their 30-year drought, because Liverpool have not won it for 30 years. And, Liverpool are sitting 25 points clear of Manchester City. But there is 9 games remaining. I think what I heard recently, the football season is going to resume on the 8th of June. And obviously, games will be played behind closed doors for public health reasons. And I think there's been reports saying that games could be aired for free on television because games will have to be played behind closed doors. I think the Premier League are planning to finish the season by the 31st of July. So Champions League and Europa League games can be played in August. I don't think it's fully assured that, the season is going to resume. There's still some reports saying that it could possibly be void, and there's reports saying that possibly, Liverpool could still be denied the title and that. But even if the season was to be void, I still think, Liverpool would get the Premier League title. But when they do win it, it will be their first Premier League and it will be their 19th overall because, they have won 18 old first divisions at the moment of Liverpool and that. But, when they do win it as well, it will be Jurgen Klopp's 4th major honour as Liverpool manager because obviously, he's won 3 major honours with Liverpool so far as Klopp. And that was they won the FIFA Club World Cup earlier on in the season. They also won the Super Cup. And they also won the Champions League at the end of last season. And don't forget, Liverpool have won 6 Champions Leagues. They are the most successful team in the Champions League out of the English clubs and that. So when they do win this season, it will be their 4th major honour under Klopp. Jurgen Klopp, has been a long-serving manager now at Liverpool. This is his 5th season with them. Jurgen Klopp's. I think he's managed over 250 odd games in all competitions. His win ratios are very, very good. I've got to make that admission. But yeah, this is now his 5th season with Liverpool. And don't forget, earlier on in the season, Jurgen Klopp, got his contract extended until 2024. So it remains unknown, whether he's going to be seeing out his contract with Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp. I think, he definitely will be there for the foreseeable future. So he could be there for maybe the next 2 to 3, maybe 4 years. But when he does eventually leave Liverpool, I think he will make a return back to Germany. Because don't forget, before Klopp was at Liverpool, he was at Borussia Dortmund. I think he did win a few titles with Borussia Dortmund, and I think he won a few other trophies at Borussia Dortmund. Before he was at Borussia Dortmund, he was at Mainz 05, was Jurgen Klopp. But I think he actually got sacked from Mainz 05 because I think he got them relegated, if I'm right. I think he got them relegated, if I'm right. Yes, he did in that. And, I think Liverpool have spent around £460 million on players, since Jurgen Klopp got recommended in. But I think, they've recommended over 20 odd, or is it 30 odd players in the 5 years, that Jurgen Klopp has been there. Also, too, they have lost quite a few of their imperative players in, recent years. Don't forget, the loss of likes of Coutinho, Suarez, Sturridge. And at that point, everyone thought, Liverpool would have crumbled. But, they did generate a lot of money for Philip Coutinho's departure. He went in January 2018. So, Liverpool got, £142 million for him. And with that £142 million they generated from his departure, they paid, £75 million for Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk is the second most expensive centre-half in the world, but he is the best centre-half in the world. Definitely is Virgil van Dijk. And I think, there has been talks that, Virgil van Dijk will be getting a new contract with Liverpool. He has got a contract with them at the moment. His current contract runs until 2022. And I think there's been talks of a few other players, possibly getting contracts. I think there's been talks of Milner, possibly signing a contract. And Milner's now in his early 30s, is he? But he is still going very, very strong, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah. But, I think there was a period, where no player managed to dribble past Virgil van Dijk. I think he won Premier League Player of the Season and the PFA Player of the Year, reflecting on his good run of performances, Virgil van Dijk. But yeah, and they also got Allington as well, with the money they generated from Coutinho's departure. They paid £67 million for Allington. So he's in that list as one of the most expensive goalkeepers. Is he the second most expensive goalkeeper in the world, Allington? I think Kepa Arrizabalaga for Chelsea, is the most expensive goalkeeper in the world in that. But yeah, he is in that, yeah. But like I said to you before, Liverpool they've had a lot of good managers, up and down the generations. Like I said, Jurgen Klopp is the best manager, they've had in this generation. Of course, before they had Klopp, they had Brendan Rodgers, and, Brendan Rodgers endured, was he there quite a few years, but I think he enjoyed one good season with, Liverpool. That was back in 2014. Now you've got Brendan Rodgers that's doing very, very well at Leicester. I think, before they had him, didn't they have Kenny Dalglish? I thought he was a good player, but wasn't a good manager. And before, they had Kenny Dalglish, I think they had Roy Hodgson, probably one of the worst managers, they've ever had. I think before him, didn't they have Rafa Benitez? I think they did win the Champions League under Rafa Benitez's guidance. Don't forget they had Gerard Houllier in that. So they have had good managers up and down the generations, definitely in that. And like I've said to Liverpool are not known for overpaying for players. They don't overpay for players, do Liverpool? Like I've said before, Liverpool seem to be very, very sensible with their recruitment and that, they paid, what, 30 odd £million for Salah? Was it around 30? They paid in the 30 odd £million range for Sadio Mane. How much did they pay for Firmino? Was it like 9 or 10 £million, if I can remember rightly? But they did get him cheap. They only paid £3 million for Andrew Robinson from Hull. £20 million for Jordan Henderson from Sunderland. I think he's underrated, Jordan Henderson. I don't think he's world class, but I think he's enjoyed a very, very good season for them. So yeah, they are very, very sensible with their recruitment, but their most expensive player is Virgil van Dijk. Yes, it is, and that. It is, and like I said, throughout the course of this season, Liverpool have had a lot of injuries. Like I mentioned, Chamberlain, sustained quite a few injuries as a Liverpool player. Fabinho, I think's had a few this season. Like I said, Klein's very, very injury prone. Who else? I think Nketiah, been injured throughout the course of this season. Dejan Lovren, Joe Matip, he's also another player that's being injured in that. But even with the injuries they've had, it hasn't had a bad effect on them. So let's just put that into the equation. But Liverpool, want to get more signings in, so they can have a good season next season. But like I said to you before, Liverpool have come close on quite a few occasions to win the league. There was unlucky at last season, they finished on 97 points. Obviously, there was unlucky under the Brendan Rodgers era, so they have come close on quite a few occasions and that. Yes, they have. And I think, they've also got quite a few good young players that are coming through, like I've mentioned before. Obviously, they've got that Curtis Jones. He scored on his senior debut in the FA Cup against Everton. I think I remember rightly, yes he did. They've got Harvey Elliott, he's another young one they've got. They've got Larouche, that's another young player Liverpool have got. They've got that Van der Beek as well. So they have got quite a few young players, that are coming through. So anyway, that's the latest on all of that. So now let's delve into some of Chelsea's transfer news. So Chelsea, have got quite a few players on their agenda, like I mentioned. I think, definitely, Frank Lampard will be given at least another season at Chelsea, because this is his first full season now with them. And, Chelsea, have already signed a player, and he will be joining Chelsea in the summer transfer market, and that is Hakim Ziyech from Ajax. Now, Chelsea, of course, have paid in the £30 million range for the player, and I think he is predominantly an attacking midfielder, is Hakim Ziyech and that. And I think it is Frank Lampard's first signing as Chelsea manager. Of course, don't forget they got Christian Pulisic last summer. Well, he joined Chelsea last summer, but Chelsea got him before that, but they loaned him back to Dortmund for the remainder of the season and that. Chelsea, of course, don't really want to see more incomings in the summer transfer market. I think they are going to get rid of quite a few players, like I mentioned. They are resigned to losing Willian on a free transfer. I think, Chelsea, want him to stay, but Willian wants a longer contract extension. Chelsea only willing to offer him 1 year. Willian's come out and said, he wants to be offered a 3-year deal and that. So he could be going. So they basically, want an adequate replacement for Willian if he goes. Of course, there's been rumours saying that Ross Barkley could go. Olivier Giroud, if I'm right, didn't he recently, agree a contract extension? Batshuayi, there's been talk saying that, he could leave as well. Pedro. So Chelsea, could get rid of around 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 players in the summer transfer market. Don't forget, Chelsea lost Eden Hazard last summer to Real Madrid. Eden Hazard endured 7 years as a Chelsea player, so he was a very, very long-serving player for them. But I've got to make an admission, Chelsea did make a mistake by getting rid of Eden Hazard, got to be quite honest with you. Don't forget they also got rid of Courtois. I think he also went to Real Madrid and that. So the players that are on Chelsea's agenda, Kai Havertz, like I updated you recently, he's been a player on their agenda. Reportedly now, they want to prioritise Kai Havertz over Philippe Coutinho, because Chelsea are reportedly now no longer interested in recommending Philippe Coutinho in. But it was totally contrast last week, because it says, Chelsea had expressed a strong interest in Coutinho. Reportedly Barcelona are willing to offload him. I think Barcelona have said they want in the 70 odd or 80 odd million pound range for him. Obviously, Barcelona are not going to recoup all the 142 million pounds that they paid for him from Liverpool, because I think Coutinho's been very, very poor at Barcelona. He's also been very, very poor at Bayern Munich, because he is on loan with Bayern Munich. Coutinho did enjoy a good 5 years with Liverpool and that. And before he was at Liverpool, he was at Inter Milan. That's where he began his senior career. But reportedly now, Chelsea are no longer interested in Philippe Coutinho. So yeah, so Chelsea, have said, they do want Kai Havertz. Don't forget my club, Manchester United, are in for him. The Bayer Leverkusen sporting director came out a couple of weeks ago and made an admission, and he actually, said that Kai Havertz could leave Bayer Leverkusen in the summer. Obviously, up until this point, Kai Havertz has spent the entirety of his career with Bayer Leverkusen, and he is only the age of 20, or is he 21, very, very young. I think he was in Bayer Leverkusen's youth setup for a good 6 or 7 years, and I think he's been in Bayer Leverkusen's senior squad since 2016 as Kai Havertz. Don't forget, became the youngest debuting in the Bundesliga, the youngest goal scorer for them as well. The youngest goal scorer for Bayer Leverkusen. Also became the youngest player to reach a milestone of 50 and 100 appearances in the German top flight. Kai Havertz can play as an attacking mid, and he can also play as a winner. Leverkusen have quoted out saying that they want around £90 million. Maybe he could cost even £100 million. So yeah, so he's a player on Chelsea's agenda. Dries Mertens, he's been another player on Chelsea's agenda. I've been reading reports regarding Dries Mertens today, and reportedly Dries Mertens is reluctant to leave Napoli, because I think he's their joint top goal scorer. Don't forget, Liverpool have been in for him, because it came out yesterday, I was at the day before, saying that Liverpool are preparing to offer him a 3-year deal. I think Dries Mertens' contract does expire with Napoli, is it at the end of the season, if I'm right. But there you go. Dries Mertens has been a long-serving player for Napoli. This is now, I think, his 7th season with them. He's scored over 100 goals in all competitions. He's got 90 goals in 226 appearances in the Serie A, I think. And Napoli, paid around €9.5 million for him from PSV. He's also a former Utrecht player, is, Dries Mertens. And he is the age of 32. Dries Mertens can play as a winner, and he can also play as a forward, so his versatility is very, very good. So he's been another player on Chelsea's agenda. I think Frank Lampard's been in contact with Dries Mertens on numerous occasions, over a possible transfer to Chelsea. Don't forget, Chelsea did business with Napoli, because obviously they got Jorginho off them for around £57 million, was it? So there you go. Don't forget, Chelsea have expressed a strong interest in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I obviously give you the news regarding Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on my recent video that I did. So there you go. Like I said, if Chelsea don't do well next season, then Frank Lampard has got a huge predicament ahead of him. I don't think Frank Lampard is the foreseeable future for Chelsea from my own perception. I'll outline a couple of reasons. Well, or one of the reasons, should I say, because Lampard, is inexperienced as a manager. He only began his managerial career last season with Derby. To be fair though, Frank Lampard, did progress Derby to the playoff final last season. But he's just too inexperienced as a manager, don't get me wrong, Lampard was a very, very good player for Chelsea. He did enjoy 13 years as a player for Chelsea, and he's their all-time leading goal scorer with 211 goals in all competitions. So he's their all-time leading goal scorer and that. And I think he did score around, 177 goals in the Premier League for Chelsea. In his playing career, before he was at Chelsea, he was at West Ham. He began his career at West Ham. Then obviously the spell with Swansea. Then went to Chelsea. Then after Chelsea had the spell with City. And then obviously after City he went to New York City. Did Frank Lampard and that. Like I've said to Chelsea have sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time. Like I mentioned on my video yesterday, they sacked Sarri at the end of last season. Don't forget they sacked Conte, even though he won the Premier League in his first season with Chelsea. That's the last time Chelsea won the Premier League, by the way. Like I said, Jose Mourinho enjoyed 2 spells with them. They got rid of Gus Higgins, Di Matteo, Carlo Ancelotti, Avram Grant, Villas-Boas. So they have sacked a hell of a lot of managers in a short period of time and that. But I've got to say, they have got a lot of good young players, coming through with Chelsea. They've got that Callum Hudson-Odoi. They've got that Billy Gilmour, who's very impressive. Billy Gilmour, Callum Hudson-Odoi. That Reece James doesn't seem a bad player either. So yeah, they have got quite a few good young players coming through. So obviously, I'll be doing more videos tomorrow. One will be coming up tomorrow morning. I'll be giving some of the news on Jack Grealish and Jadon Sancho and that. I give you the news regarding Sancho on my recent video, didn't I? So there you go. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.